Hello, how are you doing? This is the last podcast for 2023. So that is a lot of fun. Always fun to reflect on the year, how things went. It's interesting because it's the end of the year 2023, but the middle of our school year a lot of times, right? So maybe for you, that's just kind of checking on how you're doing so far in the school year. Anything you want to change, adapt. That's what's so awesome about homeschool is you can change and adapt. If you bought a math curriculum and you hate everything about it, guess what, friend? You don't have to finish it. You can do something different. So, just might be a fun time to check in with that. Also, a fun time to just relax, have some fun. After coaching, I was coaching earlier today, and I just wanted to have all my clients just pause for a moment and just celebrate how much progress they've all made. So if that's where you are too, friend, just pause your life right now. Pause of like I got to do this next thing. I got to do all these new things. Just put a pin in it and just take some time to celebrate your growth. Celebrate how much gain you've had. Yes, we can always be improving, but sometimes we need to pause and just take a moment to celebrate and have some fun with that. So, wherever you are, know I love and support you. So, one of the things that I have worked very hard on with my family is helping my children to learn how to become very independent. And unfortunately, one of the things that happened was my children became very independent. Now, I joke when I say that only because they are so stinking independent. I did not see that part coming of just missing them, wanting them around or little things like that, right? But how proud I am of them is amazing. And so, part of what I do, right, with Levels of Liberty, I mean, there's so many episodes on that. If you are not familiar with Levels of Liberty, go check that out, but just really teaching them skills with their finances, with their emotions, their mental capacity to push through when things are hard, all those things, taking care of their physical health, taking care of their social skills and making friends and how they interact in the world and their spirituality. So, this has been my whole kid's life. This has been the part of their homeschool, everything of learning all these skills. And it is so awesome to see them being able to apply a lot of these skills. So, one of the things with my kids that with their independence is my darling daughter, Tess. She's 15 years old. She has become very, very independent and she has just a kind heart. I don't know a better way to say that. She's just sweet and she's just such a sweet person. And she got the opportunity to go on a humanitarian trip. Oh, was it a year and a half ago? She got to go to Guatemala. And I mean, it changes your life when you get to go and serve people and see the way they live and how they're so grateful and happy for the simplest, most basic needs. And she had the opportunity to go, and she has been dying to go on another humanitarian trip since then. And I mean, she's always looking for ways to serve and she's always looking for ways to help. And so she found a way to go on another humanitarian trip. It's through HXP. I have no idea what that stands for, but I'm sure if you Google that, you can find all sorts of great information where they do humanitarian trips throughout the world. And she applied and she is getting to go to Mongolia in July and August. And she is so thrilled to go and do this big humanitarian project. So, part of that, going on this trip and teaching our kids, my husband and I teaching our kids to be independent, is we actually have them pay for these types of things. Because it's one thing to have a kid want to go do these experiences and then if mom and dad just pay for it, right? Like a lot of times it doesn't mean as much. And when you have to use your own money, when you have to work and do all these types of things, it just a lot of times it means more because you know the work that you put into it. So when our second son got to go tour Europe with his band, we had him pay for it, and it was such a hard year for him. He was doing all of his schoolwork, he was playing music, and then he had to have a job, and if he wanted to go with friends and all those types of things. But it meant so much more to him when he did that trip because he had paid for it. And we had our daughter, and our son went with another son went with her when she went to Guatemala. We had them pay for that too, and just watching that hard work and something that they really want. And so, as she is working her buns off to pay for her Mongolia trip, I suggested why not create something for people, right? So she's been cleaning houses and watching children and being a mother's helper, baking bread, all these awesome things. And so one of the things that she came up with was she created a 30-day family challenge for all of you amazing listeners. Or something for your family to do. Now, this is great, perfect timing with January, but you don't need to start it January 1st. You can start this whenever you want. But it is kind of fun to start something at the new year if you would like. Great for just any time for your family. So, what she did is obviously our family is, we try really hard to be intentional and we try really hard to be kind and really hard to do a lot of these little things. And sometimes that can feel really overwhelming. And I know, especially when you're looking at me, I mean, I'm 16 years in. I mean, 22 years as a mother being in, right? And 16 years of homeschooling. I've just like, holy cow, Meg, like I'll never get there. But it was the small and simple things that we were doing that helped us to create this amazing family. So, this fun 30-day family challenge is available. 100% of the proceeds go to her. It's only a $5 download, helps her get to Mongolia, help the amazing people there. But it has awesome, fun things that you can do every day with your family, right? So it can be give an 8-second hug to your family members, right? So if you're doing this with you and your kids and your spouse and all those things, like everybody's hugging all day long, making it fun. Something where it's really simple, praying for someone in your family that day. So just when you're saying your prayers, like making sure you're intentional, you could pray for everybody, right? You could pray for your husband and all your children individually, or if you just know of a child that's really struggling, like, oh man, this kid's really on my heart. Playing together, having a family karaoke night, right? You can go on YouTube, just so you know, and get free just karaoke tracks. You don't even need a microphone, and just sing and have so much fun. Making a meal together, telling funny stories together, making a treat together, just a lot of fun things that you can do together. So there's no knots on here, right? So there's no like, don't do this and don't do that. They're all fun things that you can do to help your family connect and grow together. Now, she did write a little about thing to go with it. And in it, she does suggest that you do watch to not yell and being critical. And you're going to start replacing it with some of these good things. Because if you want this amazing family to grow, you want to get out the weeds, pull out the weeds of yelling and being contentious, right? And start planting in the seeds of love, of working together, of fun, of cooperation, obedience, all those types of things. And so when you do stop doing some of those things and have something to replace it with, right? You can even think about this when somebody's trying to do a certain food plan and when they get told you can't eat this, you can't eat this, you can't eat this. They're like, oh, geez, what can I do? But it's like, oh, but you can eat fresh food and you can eat any fruit you want, any vegetable you want. You can eat all this meat. You can eat all these, whatever is your diet, right? Then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I have all these options. So just knowing in the back of your mind with doing this challenge that you are going to work on not yelling and not being critical, but you are also human, right? So apologize quickly, turning those things back around to what you want it to be, but just having something fun to do every day with the family. And so it is, those of you on YouTube, it actually is in color. I printed it in black and white because I'm always out of colored ink, but it just this really simple 1 page 30-day family challenge that you can hang up on a fridge, you can put in your rooms, and you can do something really like gamify it, right? We learned so much with games. Okay, so the first day one is write a kind note or draw a picture. So if you have young children, right, give them a piece of paper. It can be part of a school lesson of who do you want to give this picture to? Older kids who can write, right? Like, let's write a nice note. We're going to deliver this today. And you can do this something fun. Like if you do it, you cross it off on your list, or as a family, if we all do it, we all cross it off. And then you can do prizes or games like, hey, if we get at least 20 of these days done, we are going to go out to dinner. If we do this, we are going to go sleep over in a hotel. Maybe we're going to do a fun family game night after we finish this challenge, right? But just something that's fun. And if you could want to do it individualized, like whoever gets the most things gets this awesome prize. Whatever you want, as long as it's done with love and not where it's bringing up hard feelings and stuff like that, because we're trying to bring cooperation and love and community feel. So I want to invite you to go and grab this 30-day family challenge. And it does two things. It helps you and your family to connect, and it's going to help my sweet daughter be able to go do her humanitarian trip in Mongolia. So Go and check it out. And I would love to see everybody doing this. And like, let's start the new year with some really amazing families. Have an amazing day, my friends. And I will see you in the next year.